Maybe. Hold on, it's still spinning.
Yeah, let's see if
it's still spinning. Facebook doesn't want us to be. Oh, it's on.
Oh, okay.
It's on. Okay,
We're back.
This is like attempt number 3 today. I don't.
It's not like number 3. It is.
It is number 3. Yeah.
But yes, it says that we're live
really
now.
live.
Okay.
Well, that was our first one, but it is counting, so I feel like it's real. I feel like it's okay.
It says just now. Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay, yes. Yay!
Perfect. I look awful.
Yes, the Premier Pet Care production crew.
We're really good at
this. Having issues today.
We're not getting any better. But that's all right.
It's not our strengths. You know, I mean,
we try, though.
Yeah, we try really hard, but it's just not where our strengths lie. Our strengths lie in treating pets, not video production.
Yeah.
So we talked for a
few minutes. Yeah. You guys missed my story of my kid fishing while we were trying to figure out if we were actually live or not. We weren't. But that's
we were
okay.
live for like 50 seconds. You said, but
okay.
So we're gonna talk about fleas.
Yes.
Maybe for real this time.
Basically, we'll just start over.
And you would think that this would be better the second time. It's not gonna be better.
Probably not. No, because I'm trying to remember what all we thought about.
I don't know.
We talked about.
Well, you were talking about. You talked about. You asked about.
So here, we'll start.
Okay. Pretend like we haven't done this before.
All right. If you're just popping on, say hello.
Let us know that it's working.
Yeah. So I was saying, there are several great products that are in stores you can get over the counter.
Yeah.
And it can be overwhelming to pick what you want to put your pet on.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, let's talk about the difference between over the counter and prescription.
Yeah.
And you said.
And I said. There's different agencies basically that regulate those two things that tell us what we can and cannot do. So a lot of the topical products are approved by the EPA, whereas prescriptions are typically FDA. So it's different governing bodies that make those sorts of decisions. There's the rule of thumb is that if it's something that's by mouth in general, that's going to be FDA and it's going to be prescription. That's not always 100% the case because there is one that is a tablet that's available over the counter. I've seen it like Walmart, PetSmart, which is Capstar.
Great product.
That is super cool because it kills the adult fleas that are on your pet. I think they say like 99% kill in like 30 minutes. It's pretty cool.
It is cool.
When you see one that's like crazy flea infested and you have them maybe on like a white towel or something and you just see them just like falling off. They're so disgusting. But the important thing to keep in mind with that one is that's about all that it does. So it doesn't have any long-term residual activity. It's not going to prevent new fleas from getting on your pet. So you would basically have to dose that every day to get rid of your flea infestation.
Which would get really expensive.
That would get really expensive. So, it's great. Like I said, when you have one that comes in that's absolutely covered in fleas, especially little tiny babies that were like, these fleas need to die now because they're getting anemic, we'll do a Capstar, but then we'll also follow it up with something else that's going to last longer. Right. So the reason for that is if you have fleas on your pet, you have fleas in your house and in your yard. Doesn't matter where they picked them up from. That's just how it goes. Because the adult fleas get on your pet, they bite, they take a blood meal. They also lay eggs, and those eggs fall off of your pet, and they end up in the environment. So as those eggs hatch, the adult fleas then get back on your pet, and the cycle just continues.
Right.
So
and even if it gets really cold outside,
right?
If your pet had fleas before winter, they're in your house.
They're in the house. They are in the house.
So it doesn't matter how cold it gets outside.
Right. So you want something that's going to last longer. And we tell people when they have an active flea infestation, you need to treat for a minimum of 3 months because that's the time it takes for that flea life cycle to go and to be able to break that cycle. Because like I said, by the time you see the fleas, there are already eggs in the environment. So it takes time for those eggs to hatch and then the adult fleas to get on your pet and then they will die depending on what product you chose to use for them. So we like a couple different things. So there's you can do the topicals or you can do the chewables. They both work. There are certainly certain brands of the topicals that work better than others. And there's definitely safety concerns with some of the topical products that are available over the counter.
Mm-hmm.
So, especially for cats. So cats have a pretty severe toxic reaction to a certain chemical that's in some flea products. So do not ever put a flea product that is meant for a dog on a cat. They could die. And that's not being dramatic. That's 100% real. So that's why you have to be really, really careful with those things and checking the labels and all that. So definitely be aware of that. The other thing is even some of the ones that are made for cats that are available over the counter, we've seen reactions to. It'll cause neurologic issues, so it can cause seizures, tremors, head tilts, just about anything, walking like they're drunk. So anything that's a neurologic sort of dysfunction sign, it can cause that. So don't do that. And if your cat is having that sort of reaction and you have put some kind of flea or tick preventative on them, give them a bath and dawn and take them straight to your veterinarian, whether it's your regular veterinarian or if it's something after hours, take them to the emergency hospital because they need treatment ASAP.
Get them somewhere. Go
ahead and bathe them to get that junk off of them, but then get them somewhere. If they're actively seizing, don't wait to give them a bath. Just take them someplace. But if they're just kind of like walking around drunk or something, a little bit more mild, go ahead and do the bath in some Dawn dish soap and get them someplace.
Yeah, I mean the same kind of things can happen with dogs as well.
Yeah.
We just don't see it as commonly.
We don't see it as commonly. Yeah. So usually what we see with dogs with some of the less good products.
Less good.
I know, my grammar is amazing. So some of the other products is that it's just not as effective. But yeah, so that's where it's important. Even if you're going to buy something over the counter, call your vet, ask for advice. Say, here's what I'm looking at buying. What do you think? Or is there some other product that you like better? Would we recommend? I think most vets would be fine with telling you that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem that we run into quite a bit is if we haven't seen you before or your pet before, we can't give you any kind of medical advice.
Yeah, there's limits to that.
Yeah, there's limits to what we can tell you.
That's what you call your vet.
Yes, unless we have seen you before, and then we would love to tell you what to do.
Happy to talk.
And honestly, for heartworm and flea and tick preventative, we don't really care where you get it. We just want your pet on something. Mm-hmm. Because fleas and ticks, they're more annoying than, ticks can definitely be life-threatening. Fleas can too if you're a little tiny thing.
Yeah, so they can, so so a couple of things that fleas can cause other than just itchiness. So obviously animals can have flea allergies where they get all broken out in hives and very itchy, very uncomfortable. But even aside from that, so small little animals, we'll see like little tiny kittens and puppies that come in covered in fleas. There's a big risk that they're going to become anemic from that. The other thing that we'll see is in cats, they can get a red blood cell parasite from fleas that can cause a life-threatening anemia as well. What is it called? Do you know the real name?
There's two names. There's Hemobart.
Yeah, that's the old name for it. Hemobartonella is the old name.
Oh goodness, what is the new name? This shows how old I am. That's what it was called when I first started. Microphilus. Yes, microphilus.
Mycoplasma.
Yes, Mycoplasma hemophilus.
That was really close though. With your phone a friend. Your phone a friend was with
they probably didn't hear her.
Mycoplasma hemophilus. So it's a parasite that ends up on the red blood cell. So then the cat's body destroys those red blood cells because it's abnormal, and they're trying to attack that invader. So in the process, though, they're destroying their own red blood cells. So that can become life-threatening, really, really bad. So fleas are not just gross and a nuisance. They also could cause some severe disease. So it's important to keep that under control For sure. What's another thing that animals can get from fleas? Dogs and cats.
Oh, they can get tapeworms.
Tapeworms. Yeah. So I would say that's probably the most common reason that we see tapeworms in dogs and cats is from a flea. They can also get it from eating like rodent creatures, so like mice and rabbits and that. But in general, most commonly we see it from fleas. How do you tell which one it is? How do you know? Oh, that puppy's unhappy.
What do you mean? How do you tell what it is? Like
how do we know what type of tapeworm it is?
Oh,
if it's the rodent one or the flea one. I'm putting her on the spot.
I'm guessing a fecal to see what egg it is.
Yeah, so we can tell the type of egg that's in the
But
in the
isn't
tapeworm
it?
segment.
It's usually really hard to find tapeworm.
Well, that's why we'll
eggs.
more look at the segments. If you have segments in the stool, we'll look at that versus
Yeah.
sending it off for a fecal. But yeah, we can tell from the eggs which kind it is. So that tells us, do we need to do some really good flea prevention, or is this more just something, well, they ate something in the yard and it is what it is, not a lot you can do about that.
Yeah.
Also, when treating fleas, it's important to treat any animals in the house. So if you have dogs and cats, or if you have multiple pets, make sure that everyone is getting treated for the fleas, not just the one that you saw fleas on.
Right. Because if one of them has them,
they all
have them.
Yeah, and I think just like some other bugs like mosquitoes and that, I think that they have preferences. I see a lot where it's like one animal will come in absolutely covered, another one might just have one or two. So you may not see a whole lot of fleas on all of the animals in your house, but that's the perfect place for them to hide out, which is why you need to treat everybody.
Or one comes in and it's itchy and biting its skin and stuff. Well, maybe that one's the one that has the allergy.
Where only one flea bite could cause some pretty severe skin issues. Yeah,
we had a dog that had it wasn't severe, I wouldn't call it severe, but she had some pretty bad flea allergy, dermatitis, and all it takes is one or two fleas just bite, and then they're allergic to the saliva, the flea saliva.
Yeah.
So even just one flea bite can cause that.
So bad stuff. So and then back to the preventative. So there's a lot of different preventatives on the market. Some that we carry here. Some people have preferences as far as something oral versus something topical. There's different reasons for choosing one or the other. So that's just something to talk to your vet about. And of course, the brand new Simparica Trio that covers both fleas, ticks, and also heartworms.
Yeah, which is the first of its kind.
Super cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's something that I would recommend keeping your pet on all year round, just because, like Crystal said, the fleas can hide out in the house and hatch, and so even during the winter time, it's important for them to be on preventative all the time. What else? What have we forgotten? Anything else important about fleas?
No, other than they can bite you too. Most of the time they don't.
They can, yeah. But most of the time they don't, unless you have a really heavy infestation.
Yeah, or they're jumping on you.
The fleas don't tend to like us as much as they like our animals. So if there's an animal around, that's where they're gonna go. They're not gonna get on you unless it's like real bad. And as far as treating the house and the yard, again, ask your vet about what products can be used for that. There is a yard spray that I'll recommend to people. They have it. Oh, sorry, I'm boring you. They have it at Home Depot that you can use that once it's dry is safe for dogs and cats to be on. As far as inside the house, I don't routinely recommend any kind of fogging or bombs or anything like that. Usually it's just wash any bedding and fabrics that you can and vacuum daily. Yeah. Oh, and flea collars are not helpful in general. There's one flea collar that's useful, and that's the Seresto collar. Anything else is not really helpful. That's all I'll say.
You didn't name anything specific. You just blanket statemented that.
Yeah.
That's okay?
Yeah. Just flea collars. They're just not all that helpful. Yeah. They're not, because they keep fleas away from here. Cool.
That's not usually where we see the bites anyway.
Fleas usually. It's usually more like a rump above the tail or on the belly. It's not usually where fleas like to hang out, so it's not all that helpful, other than the Seresto collars that they work differently. So those are fine. Those are good, and those you can pick up at the pet stores. But yeah, other than that, if it's any other brand of flea collar. Don't waste your money.
You know what I realized?
What?
That with this video, you didn't start with the music, so they may not see it. Maybe you should end with your song.
I left the one up.
I know, but they may not watch it.
Oh my gosh.
I
That's
know.
crazy. Tom.
I know.
You know what? Those have to be in suspense for next week. It's fine. It's fine.
If anyone has ideas of what you would like to hear us talk about, we're open to suggestions because we've been struggling with what to talk about.
And you don't want us to hear us talk about random nonsense.
Maybe they do. You don't know.
Maybe they do.
Maybe they like hearing us talk about ourselves.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like
Nobody wants to hear
the
that.
crab from Moana. Are you just trying to get me to talk about myself?
I do love the crab from Moana. He's great.
Because if you are, I will gladly do so.
And that's the guy from Flight of the Conchords. Well, one of the guys. You don't know Flight of the Conchords. Look it up. It's great. They're really funny.
I think your appointment's actually here.
I know.
Maybe they're watching us.
I know. We gotta go. All right, everybody. Have a wonderful week. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.